Good evening, everybody. The 557th meeting of the Planning Board of the Village of Depew will come to order. We have the roll call, please.
Member Agner?
Here.
Member Fedorovich?
Here.
Member Matuzek?
Here.
Member Morowski?
Here.
And Chairman Maciejewski.
Here. Very good. Can everybody please rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Notification of emergency exits.
The emergency exits are located to my left and to the rear of the room. In the event of an alarm or an emergency, please move in an orderly fashion to the exits and evacuate the building.
Thank you. We have 3 items on the agenda for tonight. I know there's some people here that will probably be commenting. There is a spot under each agenda or each proposal for public concerns and comments. So when that does come up, please come up to the podium, state your name and your address for the record. So our first item on the agenda for tonight is for the property located at 6061 Transit Road. Can we have the legal notice, please?
Please take notice that the Village of Depew Planning Board will hold a hearing on Thursday, November 2nd, 2023 at 7 p.m. Pre-board meeting begins at 6:30 p.m. in the conference room in the council chambers of the municipal building, 85 Manitou Street, Depew, New York. To consider the application for submission by Bradley Kyler on behalf of Herbal IQ Dispensary for the property located at 6061 Transit Road, Suite 6055, Depew, New York 14043. The following matters to be reviewed. They are requesting the following: to apply for a special use permit for a cannabis retail business. Any and all persons interested in such application will be heard at this time.
Okay. Who's over here representing this could come forward and for the record state your name and your relationship to the project.
Bradley Kyler, and I'm owner, CEO for Herbal IQ.
Okay, if you could give the board and the audience a overview of what you're proposing.
We want to continue to be open at 6061. We have a New York State license cannabis dispensary. We believe it's gone good so far. I don't think we've had any troubles. I mean, there's been a few things that we've coordinated with, state and, fixed immediately, but I don't know, I think it's gone good. I don't know if you guys have any questions or concerns of what we're doing or how things have been going, but I don't know,
Has there been any issues?
now, when we first opened up a couple of the illegal shops down the street, guy come down drunk or whatever, security took him out, he left. That was probably the only thing that we've seen. But, transporting money, product, everything like that, we feel it's been pretty safe. I mean, we haven't had no concerns or, threats of anything or nothing like that.
And I know the state is pretty stringent on your type of business of what you can and can't do. And I know you mentioned the security.
Yeah.
You do have to have security there the whole time you're open.
Yeah, we do. We have security. We've hired our own staff at this point. And before they come in, they check the IDs. They make sure you're 21. No children allowed. You got to be 21 and over to work there. You can be 18, but you can't touch products. So we just stick to 21 and over.
No issues with the police as far as any calls or anything?
No, we haven't had to call the police at all.
Okay.
We see them every once in a while. They come circle the parking lot, which is cool. Looks like they're checking in or whatever.
How about the number of clientele coming in at one time? Has there been any parking issues at all?
No.
Other than probably the first day.
No, it's actually been really good, and we appreciate you guys, giving us the opportunity to show you what it's going to be like. We've done a few interviews with magazines and stuff, and we've gotten pretty good praise about how it's classy. It's not like your regular dispensary, so we appreciate that. But no parking, we're seeing on the weekdays it's 300 to 400 people a day. On the weekends you're 500 to 600. And it goes pretty smooth. It's a big store. We got a good system. We have, I think, 4, 5 checkout registers or whatever. But no, it flows. There's been no problem. At first, it was a little slow opening. Nobody really knew what they were, buying or nothing. So we had to explain the products and this and that and do this and that. But now they're coming in and they know what they're looking for. So now it's just like they're in and they're out. So, and I don't know, it's been, I guess the rumor was it's like the second highest grossing store in New York State right now. So we think it's doing pretty good.
I know just the repairs you made to the plaza were a definite help for the neighborhood.
Yeah, even the plaza. I mean, that place is packed all the time, and it's not just. I mean, it's a lot of it's our store, but I mean, they're helping out the other stores, and all the other tenants are, thanking us and everything. So.
So I just, this is the first request for a special use permit to operate a licensed cannabis retail store in the village of Depew. So I just want to take a moment to educate both the public and the planning board. The application requires completed special use application, a copy of the provisional or operating license for the New York State Department of Taxation, which I think Don has on file for this business. I didn't see it in the application, but I'm sure they can produce it. Complete site plan showing alterations to the property, signed application with proposed building mounting freestanding signs, so any signs, a sign application if necessary, any additional requests by the planning board that come up during the review process, and then there's just some provisions about relocation and things like that. So because this is the first one, that's kind of what everyone's looking for. It sounds like Mr. Kyler checked most of the boxes here. But if anyone has any concerns or things they want to identify, that's your criteria pursuant to our local law.
Comments from the board? Sam, you're up again.
Oh, geez. I know there was a sign temporarily that was up there.
Yeah.
Has that come down?
Yeah, we took it out.
Okay.
We got smacked on the wrist by New York State because we had it down at the Bills game for the past the Monday night game and the Thursday night game, and another competitor across town called and blew us in. So I mean, we're taking care of it. We wrote them, just asked if we could use it, if they can tweak their policy a little bit, because it did when we put that sign up. We doubled overnight.
Well, we don't want to ever hurt enterprising business in Depew, but we do have regulations that govern signs, and it is in the local law. So make sure any sign goes through Don as
Yeah.
well as New York State. Refer to Don as a synonym for code. Goes through code. And then maybe your lawyer can speak to this, but we will need a copy of the license in the file.
Absolutely. And just to be clear, we're in talks, but I've not been formally retained, but we've been collaborating on a number of showcases. So I actually have this license on file, so I can send it over if you'd like.
Okay, fantastic.
I believe I have it in my file as well.
Okay, if we already have it, we're good. I just didn't see it in the packet. And then I have nothing further.
The only change that we're about to do is we're starting to deliver. So I don't know if you guys need to be notified of that or whatever. It's getting set up right now, and it's.
I don't believe that's an issue with us. I think that's more of a New York State issue.
Right, I think we had a draft of our local law that contained some restrictions on deliveries, and we took those out because we can't be preempted by New York State. However, we do prohibit drive-through services.
Yeah.
So you can't throw a drive-through window in there.
Yep. That'd be cool, but we'll.
That would be.
But it's
Although I imagine certain clientele might take a long time to figure out what they want. Accidentally order food. Sorry.
that it's Code enforcement, Don, Kate?
Nope, we inspected the building. They've got a really classy, clean operation going on. They met all the requirements for their security and things. We don't have any issues on our end. We haven't had any complaints, so that's a good thing. Do you have anything to add, Kate?
No, whenever there are, small issues like the sign and stuff, they're always very forthcoming. We get everything ironed out pretty quickly. Couldn't be happier.
Very good, very good. There was nothing from engineering from Terry. Okay. Public concerns and comments. Buddy? Oh, step up to the, the routine.
Yeah.
Paul Sprata, 58 Argus Drive, Depew. My concern is we were just notified by mail. I live in the area, not a street away, that they're applying for the special use permit. But how long have they been open?
It's July 22nd. I guess, Sam, I'll let you answer this one.
Sure. This was a operation of legislative delay you can thank New York State for. We received notice that they wanted to open before the local law regulating this was passed in the village of Depew. So we were only able to regulate pursuant to New York State law, and they were allowed to open with the requirement that they promptly apply for the special use permit once our local law was on the books, which is why they're here tonight.
Okay, my concern and my neighbor's concern is why weren't we notified when they first opened up?
I don't think there was an operation of law that would have allowed us to do that. It would be like a business that doesn't require any kind of variance or village approval opening up. We did know about this because it was so new, and we had to kind of go through. And I think we did send a letter to confirm that we didn't have any zoning regulations at the time or something to that effect that would stop them from opening.
Right.
But they weren't really coming before any board or asking for anything. I think they commented on our local law, and I think you were there when they
Yeah.
did. But unfortunately, when there's no opportunity for the public to be heard, there's no obligation on the village to provide notice to the public. I'm happy you got notice tonight. That's why we have the special use permit, so something like this is addressed going forward. But prior to this local law getting passed, which, by the way, New York State took like 2-3 months to approve it and get it on the website so we could start doing this. That was the biggest delay.
Yeah.
But we couldn't do anything till we had our local law approved and on the books.
And what are their hours of operation?
10 a.m. Monday through Friday, we're 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. And Saturday, we are 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Sunday, we are 11 to 7.
So it's 7 days a week?
Yeah.
Okay. And there's security. What type of security do you have?
We were using Vista. They charge a lot, so we actually just went out and hired our own certified security guards that have pistol permits and.
They are legally armed?
Yeah.
Okay, and they're inside the building or
Yeah,
outside?
They're inside. It just depends. When it's slow, they usually hang out by the counter when someone walks in, they walk to the door. But when it's busy, like on Thursday, Friday, Saturdays, they're meeting people at the door.
And you say they, how many people?
2.
2 all the time?
No, one during the week. When it gets busy, we'll call in the other security guard to come in. So we have 2.
Okay.
Paul, they are regulated by the state for the security.
Yeah, I realize that. And you also stated that you were the second busiest in New York State.
Yeah, that's just rumor.
How many are operating in New York State? 20. So you're 27? So you're number 2 out of 27.
And
Okay.
Paul, the village gets a piece of the sales tax.
Oh, I know that.
revenue. So that's, I think, welcome news.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just,
No, there was a longer conversation about this, and the realization was they're gonna, if they don't open here, they're gonna open somewhere else, very
Right.
close to here. Why not take advantage of the tax revenue?
I'm speaking for a lot of my neighbors. I'm
Absolutely.
surprised there aren't more here tonight, but I guess they kind of made me the spokesman for the neighborhood. So that's why I'm asking the questions I am.
If it keeps going how it's going, I mean, the tax revenue, just a rough number, I mean, you guys will see like $2 million a year.
Yeah.
That's great.
And with the upcoming winter, is the snow removal going to be the same as it was previous to you guys moving in?
Yeah, I think everything stays the same. That's, the landlord has in the lease, he's in charge of the snow removal.
Okay.
We just have him pushing it to that lot, the gravel lot over there.
Yeah.
They're just gonna be pushing it there and storing it there.
And is it the same owner of that plaza?
Yeah.
Been the same for how many years, do you know?
5, 10 years maybe?
I don't even know how long Pat's owned that. A
He's
while.
owned it a while.
Long
Okay, it
while.
was the guy that owned the pool
Yeah, it's
hall.
still the same owner.
Still the same guy, yeah.
And we're actually in talks with the owner as well. to revamp the entire, develop the whole place.
Okay.
We own a construction company as well, so we're gonna, help jump in and,
Combine,
and just make it, it's a nice spot. I mean, there's a lot of people going there, so. That,
oh, I know.
That place can be, if you put some money in there and make it nice, that place could be pretty good.
Okay,
So
thank
Paul,
you.
question for you, since you said some of your neighbors had some concerns. Was there any issues in the neighborhood that
Well, they
concerned
were,
with?
they were concerned that why we got it noticed now, my first question, and instead of before they first opened. But as Sam said, it's a New York kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely on the state's end.
Yeah. I guess that's about it. Oh, how long of a lease do you have there?
10 years.
10 years. Okay, from July, the end of July,
Yeah.
or from now?
No, July.
July,
21st,
okay.
I think he said.
Okay, just, I can forward that information to my neighbors. 'Cause I'm sure they'll be asking me questions. All right, thank you.
Okay, Paul, thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Any other public concerns or comments? With that, a motion would be in order to make a recommendation that we grant the special use permit.
I, Member Matuzak, make a motion, make a recommendation to the village board to accept a special use permit for this. Grant a special use permit. Thank you, Sam.
I second that.
On a motion by Member Matuzak, seconded by Member Morowski, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Member Agnew?
Yes.
Member Federovich?
Yes.
Member Matuzak?
Yes.
Member Morowski?
Yes.
And Chairman Maciejewski.
Yes, 5-4, motion is carried. Good luck and keep it going. Sounds good.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You got it.
Okay, our second item on the agenda for tonight is for the property located at 6140 Transit Road. Could we have the legal notice, please?
Please take notice that the Village of Depew Planning Board will hold a hearing on Thursday, November 2nd, 2023 at 7 p.m. Pre-board meeting begins at 6:30 p.m. in the conference room in the council chambers of the Municipal Building, 85 Manitou Street, Depew, New York. To consider the application for submission by Bowler Engineering and Landscape Architecture on behalf of O'Reilly Auto Parts Store for the property located at 6140 Transit Road, Depew, New York, 14043. The following matters to be reviewed. They are requesting the following. For concept plan of site development for 6140 and 6142 Transit Road for a new commercial auto parts store. Any and all persons interested in such application will be heard at this time.
Okay, for the record, could you just state your name and your relationship to the project, please?
Yes, good evening. I'm Randy Bebout with Bowler Engineering here on behalf of O'Reilly Auto Parts. So as mentioned, we're here to present the proposed O'Reilly Auto Parts at 6140 and 6142 Transit Road. Currently, the site has a vacant medical building on the south half of the site, and the north half is undeveloped. Access on Transit Road, currently there is, we called it 3, I think, in the letter, but there's a curb cut on the north, and then there's a curb cut that has an in and out. It kind of functions as really 1, but I guess it's technically 3. And that was all, looks like that has been reworked in the last short period of time with the DOT. So, and then as far as the existing site, again, undeveloped, there's some vegetation to the west, some vegetation to the north. Generally, the site currently drains sort of to the northeast, ultimately getting to a catch basin in Transit Road. So we're proposing a 7,000 square foot O'Reilly Auto Parts building, shown here in the tan. In the gray is the 2 access drives and parking area on the south, the parking area on the east side, which is the front of the building, excuse me, has the 2 ADA spaces. We're proposing a total of 35 parking spaces, including the 2 ADA spaces. The code requires 49. This typically, O'Reilly's is in the high 20s to low 30s, or excuse me, high 30s, which is where we're at. They're comfortable with that number. They really don't need any more. And I will note, this is, I should have said that earlier, but this is the third location in the Buffalo area. There's been one approved in Hamburg. There's been one approved in Lancaster. And then this would be their third one, and they have one in Springville, which was under construction. I'm not sure if it's open yet. So those are the other locations. They're currently kind of blanking the Buffalo market. Of course, with the economy and everybody, cars are expensive. You know, they see a need for additional auto parts stores. So just talk a little bit about the site. So the only modification we're making to the southern driveway is just adding some mountable curb area, which allows the delivery truck, which is a full-size tractor trailer, to get into the site. So the tractor trailer, whether he's coming northbound or southbound, would turn into this drive, come up here, and then back into the south side of the building. The delivery door is on the south side of the building, so most of the, from a delivery standpoint, all that activity is on the south side, buffered by the building, understanding there's residents to the north of this. Again, main entrance is to the front. We have access to water, sewer, utilities, electric and gas out front, pretty straightforward. As far as stormwater, we have done geotech. The infiltration rates are really good, so we anticipate infiltrating 100% of the site, so there wouldn't be any runoff leaving the site, and that we'll need a stormwater pollution prevention plan, and that would be designed per the New York State DEC requirements. We're showing 2 infiltration areas on the frontage of the parcel and then one to the north side of the building. And the idea here was to keep this buffer from the building to the neighbors as big as we could, and it's really the same with the parking. In doing this rendering, we had some discussions compared to our landscape plan. We had a lot of trees sort of in close proximity here and not enough on the north side. So what we've tried to show on this landscape plan, or on the rendering, is it may be hard to see, but we've shifted some of the trees that we had there up here to the north side. The intent is to have a board-on-board fence that runs the whole length of this property. Here, turns, comes along here, comes all the way along the back, and then comes back and comes here. So it will be, buffered from the neighbors by the fence, and then we're adding trees along that north side and trees along the east side. We would be subdividing this parcel. Again, the entire parcel is 3.8 acres. The O'Reilly parcel would be about 1.05 acres, and the remainder of the parcel would be 2.77 acres. Anticipating an access easement for both, so both properties can use the same driveway. We have submitted to DOT, we have submitted to the Water Authority, and we have submitted to the Sewer Department, and we're still waiting for those comments to come back. Just talk a little bit about operations. Store is open 7 days a week. Typical hours would be 7:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Saturday, and 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Sundays. A store like this will typically employ 12 people with 3 to 8 employees in the store at any one time. Again, deliveries do require a semi-truck. That would occur really in off hours up to 5 times a week. And then trash is collected once a week, and the trash enclosure is, again, here on the south side, really as far away from the neighbors as we can get. And then signage, we're proposing a pole sign out front, and then one building sign on the east facing Transit Road. I'll just jump to the building elevation. So, for whatever reason, it didn't print quite right, but the O'Reilly surround around the entryway is more red than what that looks. It looks a little more, I don't know what that is, maroon. I'm not sure why it didn't print right, but intent is for that to be red. This is a metal prefabricated building. with the metal surround around the front, and then the green storefront glazing, if you will. So this is the side that faces transit. This is the north side faces the neighbors. So the parapet is higher on the front and then the two sides, and then in the back, the parapet drops down. There is screens around the rooftop equipment that matches the building materials. So with that, I can answer any questions that the board may have.
I think one of the main questions we had was the buffering from the residential areas, and you seem to have pretty well addressed that. You're basically here for the concept approval tonight, correct?
Okay, we'll take as much as we can get. But yes.
And with the parking, you understand you'll have to get the ZBA variance?
Yes, we do understand we need a variance for that. And again, we can document that further if needed, but, this is pretty typical parking count for a O'Reilly store. They don't want to build any more than they have to, and it just has negative effects on stormwater and green space.
And going through the plans, the rest of the board also noticed we're going to need to see snow storage areas on the
Okay.
plans.
We can note those on the plans.
Board members, comments, questions?
Just does the fence go around that dumpster container area, and the lighting, it sees you're not gonna have any lighting along the north or the west side, so that won't affect the houses at all, correct?
Correct. So the dumpster enclosure is a kind of like a Trex board material, but yes, this fence, as I said, is continuous from here all the way around the north to the east, and then back to the south side, and then butting in down here. So it really encompasses the
Locked in all the houses
Yep,
from headlights.
yep. Second question you had, I'm sorry?
I forgot.
Lighting. Lighting, oh, yeah.
Lighting, yes.
The lighting.
Yes. I'm a little under the weather tonight, so I'm a little slow tonight. Yeah, lighting, we have, I think, 3 light poles in total. Our light levels here at the north side are pretty low. These are down lighting, dark sky compliant.
I was looking at the other drawing on the building, and you don't have any on the
No.
two sides, the north side or the east, or the west side where there's.
There might be
houses.
one, looks like there's a door here, so there might be a, like a
Door
security
over
light
it.
over the door,
Right.
but there is none on that north side.
You did make application to state DOT for any approval or
We did.
comments?
Yes, we did. We submitted a stage 1 to the DOT, and we haven't heard back from them at this point.
Board members, any other questions, comments? Okay, we'll move on to legal.
Okay, we have a tree committee and a village board member who's really into the trees that go in here. I
Okay.
can't say it's a requirement of what you're applying for here, because it's not, but I think it would be great if you talk to trustee Andrew Adolph, and mention you're gonna be putting in some new trees, and see if he has any suggestions on what trees might be best. 'Cause,
Can you hit the last name again?
Adolph, ADOLF.
Okay.
I think we can find you a business card for him if you.
This is funny.
Oh, right there. I got it. Perfect.
He's on the website. It's pretty easy
Okay.
to reach out to, but I think
Okay.
he'll definitely appreciate that.
Okay. Yeah, and we're showing shade trees on the north side, so
Yeah.
they'll get over time, we'll have a fairly large canopy to, really further screen the building and.
Yeah. Okay, great. Do you know, is the DOT going to require any traffic study, especially with larger trucks coming in, anything like that?
Typically, they have not been requiring them. I mean, we're not generating a lot of trips with this project. So no, we typically would not be doing a traffic study for this.
I know this was a concern when we had a Dollar General come through here a few years ago, and one of the board members asked several questions about tractor trailers kind of making a left-hand turn on transit, especially when it gets busy, which is where this one's going to be. How many deliveries do you anticipate a day? Is it
It's
times
up
a
to
day?
5 a week.
5 a week?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the upper limit. I mean, it could be 3 to 5. And again, they're typically off hours, so they're not, ideally, they're not coming, during the morning or PM rush hour. And we do have to, DOT is pretty stringent, if they're southbound, we can't have them swinging into the left-hand lane, which is why we have to add these,
Okay.
mountable areas to keep them in their lane so they're not swinging out.
All right, good. And then, do you have any plans for the other parcel?
We do not. Yeah, O'Reilly's is just, has this piece under control. We have no information on the other parcel. And then seeker would be done ultimately by this board, or?
This board isn't lead agency, but they make the recommendation
Okay.
to the village board.
Okay.
However, it's my opinion that seeker shouldn't be done tonight at concept approval and should be done when you do your site plan.
Yep, okay.
Unless you want to do it twice. but-
Nope, no reason to. Nope,
So I think that would be necessary because the site plan is going to require a seeker as well, and we'll have the
Yep.
information from the DOT at that point.
correct. Okay.
Nothing else from me.
Okay. Code enforcement, Don, Pete?
How you doing?
Good.
So you've answered pretty much most of the questions. The shared agreement for the entrances because it's not on your property.
That's correct.
We do realize there's a fire hydrant less than 200 feet down the road, so that's good.
Yep,
The parking you've addressed, you have to go in front of zoning.
yep,
We have a couple of comments that we'll go over with you that has more to do with just things on the plan that we saw,
okay.
to make it easier for
Sure.
actual. We do have something here from our village engineer. I'll give it a copy of it to you. There's an issue with budding residential, a 20-foot setback from one of the property lines, but it's addressed in here. I'll let you look at it.
Okay.
And it's more, some comments about site details, grading and drainage comments, and the photometric plan about the lights. More probably light-friendly skylights.
Okay.
Things like that, all right? So I'll give a copy of this to you so you can go over that for the actual
Yep.
plan approval, and you come back next.
Okay.
Other than that, I think we're pretty good.
Kate, anything?
I'm excited to see it. It's better than a blank space.
And you addressed what Terry had as far as engineering?
That's what I just gave him.
Yep.
He'll have that, so when he comes back, he can address all that when he comes to the actual approval process.
All right, we'll be sure to add a copy of that to the file too.
I have one
Yep.
here for you.
All right.
And you also addressed the fencing along the backside, shielding residential, so those are the questions that we had. Snow storage was another, but that's something you could address that you've already marked down.
Yep, okay.
Just before we open it up, I do want to say it was a very concise set of plans
Appreciate
for
that.
this
Thank you.
project, very concise. Public concerns and comments? Anyone?
Terry Gleason, I live at 39 Davenport, so I would be on the west side. My concern was the height of the fence. Is that the wildlife going to be cleared out, and then, because we couldn't see obviously what he was showing. And, apparently the lighting's not going to show in our yards.
Well, it's
So-
a 6-foot fence, that's what's
fence.
required.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's zero-friendly skies, so the lighting should not, ambient lighting should not go beyond the property line
Okay,
onto your property.
okay.
You could show them that exactly, I know they couldn't see
Yeah,
it.
she's my next door neighbor as well.
If
so-
you want to come up and he could show you exactly how that fence is going to be. It's going to be a pretty good sized fence.
Yeah, so the fencing starts right here and goes all the way around.
Oh, is it along the fencing that's already there? Because we both have fences on our yards.
So, we can work with you on if it makes sense to remove something versus having two
Yeah, we
fences.
both have chain links, so I mean,
It would probably make sense to remove it, but I don't want to tell you that.
yeah,
So, yeah, we could work with you on
Okay.
that. Yeah, because if it was me, I wouldn't want a chain
Double
link up
fence?
against, yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
I have that on one side from a neighbor, and it looks atrocious.
So, yeah, we can work with that and,
Okay.
ultimately just remove that on your behalf
Uh-huh.
and then install the new fence.
Okay. And
Yeah.
then you're planting new,
Yeah, so these would be new shade trees here.
and all that brush is gonna be cleared out then, that's there? There's a lot of deer and everything that live back there. you know?
Yeah, ultimately, just because of the grading that's required to get the stormwater work, we're gonna end up grading in here. There is this area we're leaving as is.
Okay.
You're here?
39, I'm at 39, she's at 37.
Right here.
Oh, you're back.
Yeah.
Oh, you're back here. Yeah, so
right
we're,
along.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
all
we're
right.
not doing anything with.
Oh,
all that
okay,
that's back
all right,
there.
okay,
Oh,
all right,
that looked
okay,
like you were going to come like right up top.
Right.
It says-
No, yeah.
Oh,
we're-
okay.
Okay, so we're a ways away from that.
okay, all
Yeah,
right.
there's quite the setback between their project and your residential area.
Okay,
They're closer to Airview than to Donna.
okay, All right. Okay, well, that's good. All right. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other concerns or comments? Paul?
Keep those up because I
You're the mayor when it's in the file.
No, I know. I realized that after I pulled them off.
Thanks. Paul Sprata, 58 Argus. What type of fence is it going to be?
Board on board.
Okay, like a stockade fence, sort of, okay. And is there
Paul,
anything?
that is the code.
Okay, all right, I just want to, I'm sure he dotted his i's and crossed his t's, but, and is there anything on that property now?
No.
Mentioned, didn't somebody mention a medical?
Well, yeah, I'm sorry. Nothing where this is being constructed. There is the vacant medical building here.
Okay, all right. I think that's about all that I had, and,
That was the old Gen Motors, remember years ago?
yeah.
The collision shop.
And as far as trucks turning in, there's a turning lane on that part of Transit Road, so shouldn't be a problem with traffic. Okay, that's all I've got, thank you.
Any other concerns or comments? With that, a motion will be in order to accept the concept plan as submitted.
I, Member Fedowitz, approve the concept plan based on the recommendations of the village board.
Second.
On a motion by Member Federowicz, seconded by Member Agner, could we have a roll call vote, please?
Member Agner,
Yes.
Member Federovich.
Yes.
Member Matuzik,
Yes.
Member Morowski,
Yes.
and Chairman Maciejewski.
Yes, 5-4, motion's carried.
Great,
We
thank
look
you.
forward to seeing you again, and
Yes, thank you.
thank you for choosing Depew for your.
Yeah,
Thank you.
appreciate your time.
Okay, the last item we have is for the property located at 56 Columbia. Can we have the legal notice, please?
Please take notice that the Village of Depew Planning Board will hold a hearing on Thursday, November 2nd, 2023 at 7 p.m. Pre-board meeting begins at 6:30 p.m. in the conference room in the council chambers of the municipal building, 85 Manitou Street, Depew, New York. To consider the application for submission by Karen Farrell on behalf of the owners of the property located at 56 Columbia Ave, Depew, New York, 14043. The following matters to be reviewed. They are requesting the following: to subdivide parcel 56 Columbia Ave as per chapter 260, subset 260, 10C. Any and all persons interested in such application will be heard at this time.
Karen, just for the record, state your name again. please.
Karen Farrell. It was
And-
my mother's property,
Okay,
and she
just,
passed away. It's on the other side of the creek. It attaches to his property, so we want to subdivide it and give it to him.
Well, my name is Anthony Stapleton, and I currently reside at 219 Tyler Street, which is by the diagram of the preliminary drawing. We butt right up to the actual parcel that we're trying to subdivide. The reason we're trying to do that is I would like to keep that the same as it is today. If they decide to sell their property, there's a creek that actually splits it. Our first thing that I proposed to the Carver, Mr. Carver, was to do the individual, and he came up with using the creek as a divide. That gives her everything on that side, and then from the creek this way, which butts my property, would be mine. Okay? Basically, nothing will change except basically the ownership. Okay? It's basically gonna stay the same, maybe cleaned out, because there's a lot of dead trees, a lot of limbs falling over in the neighbors' yards, and things like that. Okay? But there, at this current point in time, there's no plans of doing anything but leaving it like that for, as a buffer, as for wildlife, as for everything that, you know, is in there now. All right? There's a lot of deer in that area. We get a lot of them. They lay in my property, which is basically Tyler Street, okay, at the end of Tyler. They sit down there, they hang out, you know. Not gonna say we, you know, feed them apples, but, you know, they love that stuff. And that's basically what we like, all right? And that's basically the proposal that is in front of you for that property.
For both you guys, both of you, I mean, it makes all the sense in the world. It definitely makes all the sense in the world.
Well, if anybody was to purchase their property, they would have to almost build a bridge over the creek at any point. And my theory is, I don't want whoever buys it to do that and put a playground in my backyard. You know what I'm saying? Because potential there could be kids playing, anything like that, you know, basically in a backyard that, you know, is there.
Yeah, it makes all kinds of sense. Questions for the board at all?
None.
Sam?
No, nothing from me. I'm talked out.
Code enforcement?
No, we see no issues with that.
Any public concerns or comments? Paul?
I got him speechless?
That never happens. Okay, with that, a motion will be in order to grant the subdivision of the parcel.
I, Member Agner, make a motion to make a recommendation to the village board to accept the
Subdivision of the parcel.
subdivision of the property without stipulation.
Okay, is there a second?
I, Member Matuzak, second.
On a motion by Member Igner, seconded by Member Matuzak, we have a roll call vote, please.
Member Agner?
Yes.
Member Fedorovich?
Yes.
Member Matuzik?
Yes.
Member Marowski?
Yep.
Chairman Maciejewski?
Yes, 5-4, motion's carried.
Thank
Good
you.
luck. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry I had to wait
Nice
till
seeing
the
you
end.
again.
Oh, that's fine.
It wasn't that bad,
It
though.
was very interesting. I know now there's O'Reilly Auto Parts. Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Take care.
With that, a motion is in order to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn, Member
Motion by
Borowski.
Member Borowski, second by Member Fedorovich. All in favor?
Aye. I'll do that.
Opposed? Meeting is adjourned at 7:42. Thank you, everybody.
You have